And we are up and running.
That's it.
We're
Good
back
afternoon.
after a hiatus called life gets in the way. And we're missing a person.
Yeah, life. Yeah, because life gets in the way.
Yeah. Just heard from Tony. He's stuck at a graduation. So hopefully he'll be jumping in here in a little while, and we'll get to talk about his interior project that came out really, really nice.
It did.
Hopefully we'll get it set up and show us some pictures of that. So it's been, I think this is 3 or 4 weeks. I lost track.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
So how have you been, Mitch?
I've been under curfew, and
Really?
and trying to avoid rioting and looting, and other than that, putting on weight. But other than that, it's starting to warm up down here in LA a little bit. Probably doesn't get as humid as you guys get it up there, but it's a nice change. The sun is going down real late, and so we're able to stay a little bit more productive in the later hours of the day. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm completely upside down at the shop with just work. Man, I got work. So I'm kind of looking for an extra set of hands to come in and just get me out of the weeds.
Oh, okay.
It might turn into a full-time thing, but for right now, I've just got this. I've had this 35 DeSoto sitting on my rack for a year plus, and I got hung up on finding somebody who could fix a gas tank for me because all the radiator shops in my neighborhood quit doing it. So I finally got a referral, and so get that up in there and get that out of the shop. And this guy bought this super nice 68 SS Camaro that just has all these little piddly things that need to be fixed. So all of these things that should take a couple of days are taking a week and a half. And then the customers want to make the job bigger than originally started.
Yep.
So, but it's good. I'm blessed. I got plenty of work, and when I get out of here, when we're done here, I'll probably go back to work and get finished up on some stuff. So,
yeah, it's starting to warm up here too. We're starting to hit the 90s into the hundreds, and I think the next 6 or 7 days straight is supposed to be 100 plus.
Wow.
But the sun's going down late, and it's, work till easily 9, if not later. Usually work till the mosquitoes come out and drive you back in the house.
Sure.
But it's been nice. I've been, working remote still. I'm 3.5 months or so into working remote full time. So as soon as the work day's done, I'm outside working on stuff for the rest of the evening, 3 or 4 hours outside. So I've been able to get a lot done on the panel truck. I probably normally would have taken me longer. So
fantastic.
Able to get that stuff knocked out. So it's been nice. And then the gym's been closed, so I can't go to the gym. So that's kind of been my exercise as well. So it's a nice outlet for, stress from work since I can't go to the gym. So I can go out there and fool with cars. But working on cars is sometimes very stressful as well. So it's, how that is. So it's like, okay. You just kind of roll with the punches. I've been doing it for so long now that I don't get as angry as I used to when I was 20. You got to assume it's probably never going to work the first time you do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going to leak. Something's going to, just not do what it should do. So you wait for that to happen. Then you fix it again, and maybe 2 or 3 times, and then you're good.
Yeah, you're about to start that process all over again, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in the parts collection process now. So yeah, the panel truck is done, 100% done as far as what I'm doing to it. And I've had it for about 18 months now, and I've done a lot of work to it. And it's been a blast. I've really enjoyed it. And it's really grown on me a lot, but it's time to send it down the road to the next owner. And so there's enough on it that they can jump in and drive it and do what they need to do, but then work on it, with what needs to be done. It still needs to be wired, and a few other things. Not much. Doesn't need much. So mechanically, it's pretty solid. So, but yeah, it's probably been 8 months ago now that I committed to buy a 32 Roadster project from a friend, and picked it up I think in January, and it sat at another friend's shop for about 5 months, and it came back to my house about 4 or 5 weeks ago. So it's been sitting in the driveway, covered up with a tarp, because there's nowhere to put it. And so I've just been making plans for that. So it's a 32 Roadster, and so I've been went round and round and round with how to build it, and went from, do I want to run a Y block? Do I want to run a Hemi, like a DeSoto Hemi? Do I want to run just a small block Chevy, something early style? And so that took probably a month of going back and forth, and then ended up finding a little small block on Facebook Marketplace. A guy had locally a complete 283 from intake to the pan, and I got it like super cheap. And it was a builder. I knew it was probably going to have issues because it didn't turn over. And he's like, yeah, I don't know why it doesn't turn over. And well, I got it home and pulled the plugs, and water ran out of four cylinders.
Yeah, that explains it.
Yeah, he sort of left it out of the rain, and it got rained on. I think it might have had a head gasket issue, which is why it got pulled to begin with. So the additional rain is, I don't know. I was looking at 5 of the cylinders have pretty bad water damage. So and not all of those cylinders had water in it when I got it, which is even stranger. So it was like it had damage and was ran damaged. So sure, it didn't run as that well because it had, it was pretty good, the pitting and stuff. So it's 30 over right now. So I talked to the machine shop, sent them some pictures, and they're like, "Yeah, we think if we can go 60 over it, we clean it all up." And so that's the plan right now. So it's sitting on the engine stand, and as soon as I get the panel truck sold, I'll have some money to take to the machine shop. And so in the meantime, I come up with a 4-speed for it, and so I'm going to run a Muncie 4-speed in it. And then right now it has a banjo rear end, and I went back and forth with that because I really like the way they look, but they're not real strong. And I'm like, I think if you're running a flathead on a 39 Ford transmission, banjo's like, yeah, no worries. But running a small block with a 4-speed, the chances of breaking that are pretty high, and they're so expensive to build. I mean, I think just to make it usable, you pop in like $500 in brakes and another couple $100 to convert it to open drive line. So you're in it a good $800 just to make it function, and it's still a weak link. So another friend had a 9-inch, and so he's holding that for me. So as soon as I get the panel truck sold, I'm going to pick that up from him. So in the meantime, I picked up some 36 Ford. What are those called? They bolt the rear end of the car.
The trailing arms.
Yeah, so I got some of those of a 36. Those work really, really well on the 9 inches.
Yeah.
But then I found out after I bought those that the car that this 9 inch is coming out of is already set up with a 4-link. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to have some options. So I'll either go 4-link with coilover or, more the old school setup.
Yeah, I might want to talk to you about those 36 bones.
So yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the 4-link, do you know how early they started running that setup? Would that be considered traditional as far as you know?
Yeah, so that was Grabowski's cookie car had 4-link on it.
Oh, okay, and that was in the 50s.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is traditional then, because I mean that's the vibe, right? I'm doing a late 50s, early 60s build. I want to run white walls. They were kind of being phased out by the early 60s, but I like that look, so that's the look I'm going for. And obviously a Muncie 4-speed isn't period correct, but it's a 4-speed, so hey, that's fine too. And then 9 inches were around already, so and small blocks were around since 55. So I'm going to run early style everything on it. I'm going to run a points. I'm going to run a coil. And multi-carb intake. I still haven't sourced an intake yet, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to do there. Either probably more than 3. I'd like to get a 4 or 2 setup. That would be nice if I can find one. I found a 6.2 setup locally, well, not real local, within 4 hours of my house for a pretty good price. It came with 8 carburetors. It was a 6.2 setup with linkage and intake manifold and everything. And the guy never returned my message when I contacted him. So I don't know where that went. So I shouldn't be buying intake manifolds right now, but strike for the iron's hot. But yeah, I found those I found those 36 bones on the ham. Guy had them in Texas and had them shipped out here. They just got here yesterday, so stuck those in the garage, and we'll see where that ends up. So if I end up using them, I got a friend I'm working with here in Modesto, and I think he's got 532s, and he's like my age.
Wow.
But his dad had 32s, so he grew up around them, and I think might have inherited one or two of them, but he's just had them for a long time. So he's got a 3 window, a 5 window. I think he has 2 roadsters. One of the roadsters is for sale. So quite a fleet. So, but he knows the stuff inside and out. So I was talking to him about setting up rear ends and, how should I do it? And what are your thoughts? And he's like, oh, get a set of 36 bones because you can bolt the A spring right to it. And then you just connect it. I'm like, you're done, run your fittings on the front, and I was like, oh, okay. So dug those up. Those aren't easy to find, or I shouldn't say they're not easy to find it for a good price. For $400 and up, yeah, you can find them, but that's a little out of my budget. So, so that's the plan for the rear. So 9-inch, 4-speed. The bell housing is an interesting setup because it needs to be set up with a hydraulic. Well, the clutch is hydraulic, but also the slave cylinder will be hydraulic, so it'll be a hydraulic actuated, pressure plate and stuff. So, finding an early style bell housing has been a challenge. I was able to source one of those to clear the firewall because the way he had it set up, that's what he used to set it up with the firewall and the small block, and so it should go back together pretty decently. So, I'm not in a big hurry, but I don't want to wait either. So we'll see little by little. But yeah, the plan right now is to get the panel truck sold ASAP. So I'm gonna probably take it tomorrow evening. I had a friend of mine that has a drone, so I think we're gonna take it out, do a photo video shoot on it, and then if I can kind of wrap that up over the weekend, do some editing, maybe just throw it up on eBay and see if we get some interest there. At least it'll get in front of a lot of eyes that way. And I think what I'm asking for it is a reasonable amount. So just takes one guy or girl. There's a lot of interest in it already, but nobody's actually made me an offer on it. Well, I take that back. I've gotten some offers on it, but those are I'll offer you half of what you're asking for it, because you've posted it online for sale, which is, I can always expect those. So nothing, in the realm of like, oh yeah, I'll consider that. Let me think about that. So
Sure.
I know some people are, and I've seen this in their ads, and I totally get it. They're like, if you want to, all cash offers in person only, and I'm a big fan of that because trying to sell that DeSoto, I probably had at least 10 people offer me like the amount of money I would take for it. Nobody ever showed up.
Never hear from them.
And then going back like a year ago when I was trying to sell the 65 Buick, it was the same kind of deal. It was like people would make me fair offers, but then they'd just be gone with the wind. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so I get why people do that. I'm like, well, show up, make me an offer, and we'll talk. So people are, I get, people trying to get stuff cheaper, and that's all part of selling stuff. Typically you're going to ask a little bit more for it than you're willing to take. It's all part of the dance you do when you're going to buy something. But if somebody's asking $10,000 for something and you show up and offer them $5,000, to me, that's kind of insulting. I'm like, you can offer it, but yeah, I'm not going to take it.
Sure.
But, good try. Yeah, but I don't need the money that bad. I'd rather just wait it out,
Yeah, the one I hate the most is, what's the least you'll take for it?
Yeah.
To which my answer is just make an offer. It's I'm not gonna, you were gonna offer me 600, but here I'm gonna give it to you for 400. No, and then same thing, cash in hand. Show up. That Nova that I sold, it was the same thing. I was going around and around and around with 15 guys all at the same time, but I could only get one guy to actually show up with cash.
Right.
They all want to talk a big game, and I want the car, and I got the money, and nah. Well, not until I see it.
Yeah, the only guy to show up that bought that 37 DeSoto, the only person that showed up was the one that had the cash. So it's like, I had already accepted the offer online, but I'm like, but at least he showed up with the money, because I'd done that
Yeah,
before. In fact, I had turned down more money for it previously. I need to stop doing that, I guess, because then I
uh,
waited all out. That happened with the Skylark. That happened with the DeSoto too, because I started out asking like pretty high, and then, but again, people are flakes, so it's like you
sure.
don't know who's going to show up and who's not. So,
Yeah, I try to be like right now. I've been I sold some stuff, so that tunnel ram that I've had for sale for like 2 years finally got somebody to come by. Everybody wanted oval port, but this was a
mm,
rectangular port for a big block.
yeah,
And some guys from the valley came down, and it was what they wanted. And so I have some cash in hand. So I've been looking for a fishing kayak,
okay,
and so I'm all over OfferUp, and it's amazing how quickly stuff is selling right now.
yes, anything outdoor related,
Yeah, so
yeah,
I go,
bicycles, kayaks,
I mean,
yes,
an hour
instantly, yes,
like that, and nobody is bargaining.
yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, in
Uh,
fact, bicycles are selling for higher than you normally buy them at Walmart, but
yeah,
Walmart's like sold out.
yeah. My
So
local Target,
yeah,
nothing in there.
so $100 bike now becomes a $150 or $200 bike, right?
Yeah.
Supply and demand.
So I found this kayak that I wanted, and the guy didn't want squat for it. So I sent him a message. He lives up in East LA, and he works nights, so I can only go during the day to pick it up. So here I am going, look, dude, I want to give you the money. I want the kayak, And so I says, can I come check it out? And he goes, well, if I still have it by then, I mean, he wants his money.
Yeah.
So with him, I just paid him by PayPal. I go, I'll keep it. Here's the money. I'll come get it next weekend.
Yep.
But then there was another guy up in Santa Monica that's got a kitchen table that I really want. It's a big, thick block, chunky wood table. And he only wants $100 for it.
Mm.
So I'm texting him every day. I'm still interested, even though we can't connect. I'm willing to PayPal you the money for it.
Right.
Because I know what it's like to get flaked on time after time after time after time. That, look, I want the thing. I'm ready to make the deal. Let's do it. And I would think if more people were, but I'm also guilty of just texting people just for testing the waters. Up in the high desert over here, there's the guy had a Model A that was all together. It's got a 4-link front and rear. It's set up for a small block and a 350 with a dropout cross member. It's got a 55 to 64 Chevy rear end in it. It's got disc brakes. It's all plumbed. It's a rolling chassis. It's got Vegas steering on it. It's just missing the gas tank and the steering column. Mm-hmm. And then the body is a 23T body that is leaded and molded onto a set of Model A aprons and fenders.
Oh, wow.
With a Model A bed. Killer. Yeah, really, it was a Dry Lakes car. The body was. And so he built a different chassis for his car, moved the body. So now he had the chassis. So he put this body on it. And so we sat and flim-flammed on the phone for about a half hour, But then when we got down to brass tacks, he just wanted too much for it. And I wasn't going to try and bargain with him over the phone. Right. And I didn't want to drive out to Highland, Had he come in $1,500 cheaper, I'd have gone out and done business. But that's all part of the game, I guess.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is I can't tell you how many cool people I've met that way.
Yeah.
Just by showing up, or they'll have something else in the garage that I wanted if I didn't want to make a deal. One time I had a guy come out. I had a Model T project for sale on Craigslist, and he came out and he looked at my parts and he looked around my garage and he saw all the stuff I had. And he goes, "How much do you want for everything in the garage?"
Wow.
So we made a deal.
Seriously.
And off he went. Yeah, but he lived up in like San Luis Obispo or somewhere up that way, and he made multiple trips to come down and get the stuff, and he wound up threatening to sue me because he didn't get a part that he imagined was in my garage that I never had. Yeah, he was an older guy. He only had one lung, and so he was like, when he got here, he told me, he goes, I hardly slept. I've only got one lung. I drove down here. he was like half awake,
Wow.
and and he was a legit like hot rod guy. He was a cool dude until he started telling me that I had an all chrome dropped I-beam front suspension with disc brakes on it and all that I promised him.
Wow.
I never had it. And I felt like really bad because I didn't want to tell an old man that he was imagining things,
Yeah.
But I never heard back from him. I think he probably passed away.
Yeah.
But that's too bad because he was actually kind of a nice guy.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, there's all kinds of trials and tribulations in internet selling. That's why I pretty much haven't put all my junk up for sale because I just don't want to deal with people.
Yeah. Let me tell you what happened to me today. So I've got some like late 80s IROC Camaro wheels.
Nice.
And they came with that 65 Skylark because they're the only wheels that would clear the disc brakes. And I used those on it when I did all the primering and everything. Well, I had those really nice 5-spoke mags that went back on it, like when I sold it. So those were just extra wheels I got. So I sold the car, I kept the wheels. And so I have these, IROC wheels that I have no use for. So I threw them up on Facebook Marketplace, and like they've been there for a week, like nobody. So today my phone starts blowing up. And I keep, thankfully on Facebook Marketplace, you can look at the person's profile if you're interested in buying them. And I'm like, I don't want these people coming to my house. So I'm like, I just marked it sold, and I'll post it up on OfferUp or something because I'm just like, I don't, you know what I mean? You just these days, you just don't know who you want to trust to come to your house. Anytime you're selling anything, it's always kind of like, feel people out. So
that's why I'm lucky I can meet everybody at the shop.
Right. That's the benefit of Facebook Marketplace is you can go to their profile and see what kind of a person they are. And like you could do a little bit of scrolling and you're going to know exactly what their thoughts are on pretty much everything that's going on right now. Sure. To tell you, okay, do I want to invite this person to my house? And and I'm only asking $75 for the wheels, and people are like, would you take anything less, or what's the lowest? I'm like, dude, it's $75. I'm like, if you're trying to haggle down from $75, then I don't know. The wheels are probably worth it. I don't know what those sell for. I didn't even look it up. But
yeah, they're probably worth at least $50 each.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I have to. And then I had a person the other day who was like, I'll take those 4 Camaro wheels. And I'm like, no, I only have 2. It says 2 in the ad. You need to read the words. And then I never heard from them. So I'm like, okay, I don't have 4 wheels for $75. I have 2. So, but
yeah,
up and down with people, man. But then you meet some great people. So I'm actually friends with people on Facebook. I posted some stuff for sale. I had some Y-block parts, set of heads, really nice heads that I was helping another friend sell, and he's not really, plugged into the Facebook groups and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'll help you sell the heads, and then some of the exhaust and stuff, and he's just giving me a cut of what it's selling for, and I'm like, yeah. So they come over from the Bay Area and picked them up, and now we're like Facebook friends now. So it's just like it's nice to connect with other people. And then he's got I think it's a 32 Roadster he has, and he's building another 30s car, and he's going to put a Y block in that. So it's like he's got some great cool stuff, and he's sharing photos, and we're I didn't have my Roadster here at the house yet, so he didn't get to see that, but I was telling him about it and told him about the panel truck, and that was still in progress. So, but it's interesting. I mean, it's great to meet great people. I mean, that's always a big plus. So, before I forget, we're at 495 subscribers now on YouTube.
Woo-hoo.
We need 5 more people, and then we're going to do the drawing. So I think I need to make another video and post it up on Instagram or something. I'm like, 5 more people. There's all these, it's amazing on the Facebook channel for Speed and Chrome. We've got like 27 something thousand people following that page, but good old algorithms, they'll show this live feed to like 10 people.
Right.
Like, thanks Facebook. I don't know. I don't get it. You got to pay to play these days, I'm like, this is
for those who are watching on Facebook Live, and then for those of you who will wind up watching this on YouTube, here at Speed and Chrome, we want to be entertaining, but we also want to be educational and informational and relevant. So if you've got any topics or questions or technical things that you'd like to see discussed here on Speed and Chrome, you can send your email, or you can send a Facebook message through the Speed and Chrome Facebook page.
Yep. That'll come right to me.
Or that'll go right to Lance. Or you can comment in the comment section on YouTube. And then we can we'll toss some of that stuff around because Lance and I have discussed doing how-to videos and stuff like that for the YouTube channel. But I think that stuff is kind of pertinent for discussion, because we can discuss the different ways that we do different things and all that without just being an opinion show and talking about rat rods versus street rods or whatever, because that conversation never gets old.
Yeah.
But so with that Lance, question for you.
Sure.
So you got this 32 Roadster, right?
Yeah.
When you build stuff, because I know you've had that DeSoto for a long time.
And
it sounds to me like all the years that I've known you, that the vision has never changed for that car, right? Roughly.
Very, 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 very slight. It's but yeah, it's mostly been the same plan.
So do you have like a build philosophy when you approach all your projects, or is everything just its own creature?
If I could live in the world that I would like to live in, this is what I would do. I usually, when I get a car, I know exactly what I want to do. The problem is time and funds. And if I got it and if I did the amount of work and did what I wanted to do right when I got it, that would help me a lot. The problem is I tend to have stuff for longer periods of time. So my build vision changes and then changes again and then changes again and changes again. So the DeSoto, which is a 53 DeSoto Sportsman, which is the two-door hardtop Hemi car that they made, pretty rare car. There's not many of them out there. I wanted to make a mild custom out of it, but then I went back, and it's a hardtop, so it already has a really low roof line, so it looks like it's been chopped. But then you go like, well, why not go full custom and chop it, and just the amount of work that's involved with that. But I'm not the best. I'm a creative person. I'm not. My father-in-law is an engineer, and he's very structured in the way he does things. Extremely structured. He makes lists and plans, and I don't do that. And it would probably benefit me if I did. I usually have a rough idea, but I play everything kind of fast and loose, and that's probably not a good thing. But like I said, if I had the money and the time to do things quicker than I do, that would help me get stuff done and build them the way I want to. Like the vision for the Roadster, I have it pretty much. I do the build style, the build period, late 50s, early 60s style, even though in early 60s, you're starting to see a little more black walls and mags come into the play. Do you know what the first year the mags started coming in? Was that early 60s?
Yeah.
Who did the first mag? Do you know?
It
was like Anson, maybe?
Anson. Well, I think they all kind of came out at the same time, but Anson and Romeo Palmades, I can't remember who hit the American Racing Wheels, Krager. They all kind of, but I think Anson might have been one of the first.
Okay.
Anson sponsored my dad in like 66.
Okay.
67, something like that. But they were out before that.
Yeah.
The mag wheels were.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look
So
at like Don Prudhomme's early dragster had 5-spoke wheels on it. You know, that was 63, 64.
okay. So yeah, that's a kind of a crossover year, late between like 57, 58 to like 62. There's a lot of things that kind of changed design style wise. There was still some white walls still around, but that was probably more of an older fashion, look. So I don't know. That's what I like. So that's what I'm building.
Mm-hmm.
It's my vision. So whether it has a 4 link or 36 bones in the rear, whatever works, whatever gets it down the road. So I'm one of the things I'm doing with this build is a little bit different than other builds I've done. Is I'm trying to go the cheaper, faster route, but stay as traditional as I can. That's why I ended up going small block Chevy, because they're cheap and it's still period correct. It checks that box for me.
Right.
I looked into the flathead, not the flathead. I'm not even gonna go there. That's just way too much money, and they're great. They're beautiful. I don't want to probably ever own one, but Y block or Hemi. So I looked into the Hemi because I already have the Hemi. It's in my DeSoto because I'm going to probably put a more modern drivetrain in that. So, and it's a custom, so nobody opens a hood on a custom. So why not pull that engine out? Well, the adapter's like $1,000, and that's just one of the steps to make it fit and function in that car. So that's just a complicated, expensive road. And then Y blocks are not cheap either. To get one that's a builder, you're talking about quite a bit of money there, which is, building a 283, which is what I found because I wanted an early engine. So it's a 1962 83. I'm like, hey, that works. That works just fine. It came with a set of power pack heads. I got a friend that has some double hump 202s, so it's probably going to get the 202s put on it. Mild cam. I keep going back and forth on the exhaust, whether I want to run headers tucked in, run ramps horde tucked in, run it out and under, or run like lake style. Because I like both of those. So I don't know. I haven't crossed that road yet, so I still got a little time to sort that out. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know. What
think.
are your thoughts?
Well, for me, I have a scroungers philosophy. So I know, like with my T bucket, the one that I got 2 projects. I've got one that is an accumulation of years and years of flipping parts, and this is what I wound up with.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got an aftermarket T frame. I got 8-inch Ford rear end, small block Chevy, Speedway disc brake chrome drop front end, a Survivor body with a top. And so for me, it's all period enough,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna get worked up about disc brakes. They work, and I want to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want my juice brakes failing when I'm going through a stop sign or something. So that's this car. It's just all the parts that I wound up with, and they all fit the theme well enough,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing is too out of the way. It's got the chrome smoothie wheels on it that would usually get the baby moons, and I hate those wheels, but I got them for $300 or $200 or something, and they're brand new. So I just put some cheapo radial tires on it,
Mm-hmm.
and off we go. I got so that's going to be that car. It's just going to be all of the stuff that I had laying around. The other car, again, is all stuff that I wound up with, but it all fits the car that I want to build. Well, I want to build 2 cars. It's going to be one or the other. There's a guy, I have to look up the guy who originally built it. But he was a local guy here in Southern California. And then there was a guy in Long Beach on the ham named Bernie, who he had the car. And then he sold it to a guy on the ham called Gas Pumper. And I want to clone that car.
Okay.
It's just everything about that car is perfect. You know, it's got like a Lakes modified look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'd like to build a full fendered car and do like what that other guy did, Model A fenders,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I'm just going to build when I wind up with enough parts to build the car. That's what I'm going to build.
Okay.
The only car that I've ever gone all the way in on was that 52 Chevy, where I sat because that got away from me really fast. You know, it went from
Down the rabbit hole.
let's just fix this real quick, and then really quickly I had to start making some decisions. And when you decide, okay, full custom, and I got 4 months to build the car, you know, and so we already knew it has to be black, it has to have a black and red interior, it has to have red flames, it has to have wide whites, it has to have Cadillac hubcaps, it has to be nose decked and shaved, like those. It had to, because we were building a period correct mild custom. But that was exhausting.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just anxiety city, and forget it, you know. And I can't think of a car. Like I can't imagine going through that process again. And going through that. A friend of mine's having a Riviera built up in Bakersfield. And he was sending me some pictures today. It's like a top secret kind of a project. It's amazing. It'll probably debut at the Roadster show.
Oh, okay.
But you know, he sent me a picture of the nail head, and it's all painted and detailed and chrome and powder coating and all this jazz. And I just started sweating just looking at all of that and all the details you got to keep track of, and everything has to fit and work together. You know, but with a little T-bucket or a little Roadster or something like that, you can really get away with building a totally cookie cutter car, still make it your own, and have a ton of fun. You know, like my Roadster, my little T-bucket, I'm not even going to paint it. I'm going to drive it with the beat up old body on it. I'm not going to replace the top. I'm going to have to redo the interior, but you know, I'll probably just do that super minimal. And but I'll paint the frame and I'll detail the motor, because I don't want it to look like, you know, I just pulled it out of a 78 station wagon or something. You know, with nice valve covers and a nice air cleaner and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to kill myself on this one.
Right.
You know, but that's, like I said, is everything that I've built except for that 52 Chevy has always been a matter of, I've got a general idea what I want to do. So it's going to be up to what's available in my price point, and that's what's going to build the car. That's the determining factor.
Yeah. And
but I never get anything built. I wind up getting itchy feet, and I sell it before. You know, I was walking down the street today. There's a shop around the corner from my shop, and the he was an older guy, and he was sick. So the shop has been closed for a couple of years now, at least. And there's this 57 Chevy sitting in the back, just rotting. And it's been back there for 12 years, at least 15 years. And his son and his son-in-law were in there because the guy passed away a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And I was that tempted to, and I walked right past the shop, and I felt myself. No.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause I got a little bit of cash to burn. No, finish your T-bucket.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not doing anything else until I get that darn car built.
Well, I've made some promises to my wife regarding how many cars I have, which ones I want to keep, which ones I want to build. So I'm in selling mode. So the panel truck hopefully is the first one to go. I got rid of the little DeSoto that was out back, but I still have 6 vintage cars. So
Jeez.
the goal is to get it down to 3. So yeah, so I'm going to be selling some stuff off. So
yeah, I'm in dangerous territory because my wife now has an infatuation with vintage Fiats.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like how vintage?
Like
they've been making Fiats for long. Oh, really?
Yeah, she saw this little Fiat going down the street by her office, and now that's all she can talk about.
Funny.
You know, so Oh, I hope I don't get suckered into buying one of those things. You know, I don't know. Can you put a small block in one of those things? Let's find out. You know,
I
but
don't know much about Fiats.
yeah, me
That's
neither. I've had one in my shop, and I told the guy I don't want to work on it anymore.
It's a European. That's about all I know.
That's all I know. Is I took one look at that. The guy had a carburetor problem or something.
Yeah.
And we just you're gonna have to find somebody else. But there's nobody who works on those things around. Well, there's always one guy, you know. But the reason he came to me is because that one guy gets paid what he's worth for his knowledge. And I went over and talked to this guy, and he said he wanted this much. Blah blah blah. Well, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm not going to work on it. So go pay for it, you know.
Yeah.
But
well, it doesn't look like we're going to see Tony tonight, so we're going to have to regroup with him next week so we can show off his interior of his Chevy. Is this 53 or 54? I don't remember what year his Chevy is.
I don't know. I think it's a 54.
54. Okay. So yeah, so he did an amazing job on it, and I'm just like, yeah, we got to show that off. So he's been taking his Thursdays off since we haven't been on live and working on his car, which is good. So, but yeah, we're almost 45 minutes in now, so I don't think we're gonna see him. So we'll have to,
we'll just have to send him a bunch of really heartfelt Indian burn texts over the next 3 hours.
I'm like, graduations never are on time, and now with all of the weird goofy stuff that they make them do, you know, for social distancing and
drive-throughs. And you know what they did over here, the drive-in theater, you know, it doubles as a swap meet during the day, and then on the weekends they play one movie on Friday, on Saturday, and on Sunday. And they're all old movies.
Yeah.
You know, out in Paramount, which is like, I don't know, 15 miles away from here, maybe. They have an operating drive-through, plays all new releases. They got multiple screens, but the Rhodium, they got one screen, and they did the graduation there, where everybody came in the cars, and then they put the graduates' names up on the screen.
Oh,
and
that's kind of neat.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool. Got to get creative.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah. And I guess tomorrow, I guess they're the whole wearing a mask mandated. It's going into effect tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. Good luck.
You know, I think if it's before it was recommended if you were within 6 feet. So I don't know how they're going to enforce that. That's just, there's almost 40 million people in this state. There's just going to be,
it's madness.
Millions of people begin. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's just
our sheriff and our police are like, we're not going to enforce that. I'm like, no, we actually have real criminals to chase, the ones we let out of jail.
Yeah. Yep.
Jeez. Oh man, I saw a thing last night. They've arrested this guy since April. He's been arrested 24 times since April.
Yeah, they just turn him right back out.
And they caught him with a stolen motorcycle on the subway. on the subway. They said he'd been arrested 24 times since April. And I'm like, that guy's been busy, because they arrest him and they don't put him in jail. They just let him go. I'm like, the amount of carnage that's happening in people's lives because of the whole, you know, you might get sick. I don't know. Things are nutty right now. So
yeah, they certainly are. And LA is definitely feeling the burn. Very literally.
Yeah, I've been seeing stuff pop up, but I'm just like,
yeah, it's crazy. So where I live, when the LA riots happened, the Rodney King riots, that hit us in my city. You know, we're a suburban town. We're not LA. You know, I mean, we're LA County, but we're not LA. We're a beachside community, about 5 miles from Manhattan Beach. But that hit us. Our town, our mall got raided. Wow. You know, we had National Guard on our streets.
Wow.
But this time around, they got Beverly Hills and Santa Monica and Culver City and Long Beach. But right where we are, so all of that is, 10, like a 10-mile radius north and south of us.
Okay.
And so we've been pretty well protected, but you can't turn on the news or anything else without that. So we don't have cable TV. I don't have an antenna. So everything that I get is through some kind of social media platform or streaming video platform.
Mm-hmm.
And even still, I'm selective about, what I want to go look at. But, all of our car shows canceled, everything else canceled. And so I guess what I'm really hoping to see, because I'm sure the scene in Modesto is the same as it is down here in the South Bay, is I've been looking at the same cars for 15 years. So I'm hoping that when we come out of all this, maybe next season, we're going to see some new cars. Guys have had some time in the garage, and, so everybody's going to be fat with a new build. That's what I hope.
We're actually having a big swap meet this Sunday.
Really?
The local fairgrounds. Yeah, they're going forward with it. So they're in compliance and they're doing all their things. So
that's great.
And it's also Father's Day Sunday. So I'm like, maybe I'll run out there for the day just to see some cars.
There you
to
go.
do something car related. So I was like, maybe I can make up some flyers and post them up with my panel truck for sale. So I thought about driving it over there. I don't have any brake lights or tail lights or anything. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to risk that, but I'll cruise it around the. But
yeah, but we're getting there. It was kind of cool to see. They reopened the mall limited, and restaurants are limited open for dine-in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of cool stuff. So we're starting to see that return to normal.
Right.
So my thoughts are that I can organize my car show as a protest, and then there's no social distancing requirements and nobody has to wear a mask. And we can just
how it is.
And then we can just take over a public park and nobody's going to enforce anything against us. So I don't know if that sounds like a good idea or not.
Yeah. I don't know. Things are a little nutty.
They are.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
All right, man.
All right, man.
It's about time.
It is.
We got some car talk in, and hopefully we'll see Tony next time.
Yes, indeed.
We'll be fine. He's wrapping it all up. It's when you're a teacher those things happen, I guess. Right.
So until then, don't forget to like and share and follow the Speed and Chrome page. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, and don't forget to hit the notifications bell to get informed every time we post a new video. And we got a big Speed and Chrome video, or a big Speed and Chrome illustrated giveaway at 500 subs. So
a bigger one at 1,000. So
yeah, there we go. So like and subscribe. Don't miss out. And we will see you next week.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.